Welcome into the 38th episode of the Save Saturdays podcast. I'm your host, Big Sky, wearing the Big Sam Ellinger jersey. Joining me, Big Bets, Ryan Bentz, and Will Reason, the original co-host of the show. Broken hand and all, quiz and all, 3 exams this week and all. Wilson Reason. Thank you for joining us, guys. How are we doing on a Wednesday, even though we're talking about Saturday?
It's a great intro. Thank you, Ethan.
Very good. I'm happy to be here.
You gotta bring the energy.
I love the energy. I mean, it's even on a Wednesday, energy's good. I need it. Halfway through the week, Saturday's just getting closer from now, and I can't be more excited.
We're 4 days into married life for Big Bets. So how's it going? You sleeping on the couch yet?
Yes. It's been great. No couches yet, but I'm loving life. Yeah. So I've heard. Right now, life can't be any better.
You know, Ethan, great. I don't know if I should be on this show anymore because I'm the only guy that's not married. I mean, is this Save Saturdays or is this like married guys pod? I don't know.
Well, Cherry's unmarried, so.
Well, he's not here right now, so.
Well, he should be here. He just never responded to our text.
No quantum cherries tonight.
No quantum cherries. We're all sad to see. It made its one appearance, and maybe it'll never be back. We'll see.
I was hoping he'd be on this show so that he can defend his Chicago Bears as they play the Green Bay Packers, one of our big 9 picks, but I guess not.
Prime 9. Okay, come on.
Prime 9. Sorry,
it's got
big 9. I was thinking of Big Sam, after the Colts poor showing this weekend and how they could have put Big Sam in. It was on my mind.
Hey, he was the best quarterback in the preseason. I was talking about it last week. I said I would wear the jersey. I'm wearing the jersey. All right.
He's
back. He's back.
He's back.
He was gone for his rookie season. Now he's back. We're gonna start off the show with the same thing that we do every week, and that's Nebraska Scott Frost talk. We're all wearing blue, but we're actually fans of the Big Red. Initial takeaways when you see the announcement come through on your phone or the headline pop up, Scott Frost has been fired as head coach of Nebraska. Will, we'll go to you.
Well, I was in the car driving back from, I think it was Ryan's wedding, maybe? Was it? I don't know. Yeah. Sioux City, I think. I was with Cherry. He pulls up the phone and goes, Scott Frost is fired. And I took a second. I processed the information, and then I flipped out in excitement. Holy crap, the Huskers are going to win a game next week. It's going to be amazing. We're going to look like we actually belong on a football field. I mean, it's going to be – I can't wait. I can't wait. I was so excited.
Ryan, you're not as big a Nebraska fan as the rest of us because you're actually a Texas fan. So I guess what was your reaction on Sunday?
So, I mean, I'll always say I like the Huskers first. I'll just say that. All right. Believe it or not, I grew up watching the Huskers. I love Bo Pelini. That's when I was the biggest Husker fan with Bo Pelini. And then we got rid of him, and then we kind of started stumbling backwards. And I didn't like where we were heading. Then I'm like, hey, this Texas team looks pretty good. And I started following Texas. I got family in Texas. But that's another story. When I first saw the news, I wasn't surprised. I just immediately I don't know. I told Cass, sitting next to me, I'm like, Cass, my wife, and I just said, wow, this is fantastic. Scott Frost just got fired. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I called it. If we lost to Georgia Southern before Oklahoma, I said there's no way Scott Frost is coaching against Oklahoma. So I was kind of happy with that. But we definitely need a new face for our football team. I'm glad Scott's gone.
I was on my way to a soccer game. I was covering soccer that day, and so I didn't have much of a chance to react to it. I just looked at my phone, and I was just like a cold chill raced through me. I was just like, okay, dang. I didn't think it was coming on Sunday. I didn't think it was going to happen. Ryan, you're clearly the gambling type if you knew that was coming down then and there. I'm really surprised. I wasn't sure how to feel about it at first. I have this tendency to feel like seller's remorse is what I call it. Now that we're rid of them, I'm just like, dang, okay, maybe, I don't know. I get cold feet. Once it's already done. That's when I get cold feet. I think it's going to be good for the program, though, going forward. lot of interesting names out there. So we've heard Urban Meyer, we've heard Jamie Chadwell from Coastal Carolina,
Tom
Matt
Herman.
Campbell is rumored to be the number one option out of Iowa State. There's other guys with a lot longer odds. Who are some of the names you guys have heard that are really intriguing you?
I'll start. So Tom Herman, he was former Texas Longhorns coach 3 years ago. I think right now he's some associate coach for the Chicago Bears. I don't know if that's right, but he is not with college football right now. But I know he helped recruit Casey Thompson, who is starting Nebraska quarterback right now. So I think if they brought in Tom Herman, might be a little spark between those two.
Tom Herman is currently unemployed. I'm just going to go ahead and react to that real quick before you get to your name, Will, because I think I spent about the first 15 episodes of the Save Saturdays podcast talking about why Texas needed to fire Tom Herman. I hate Tom Herman. That dude sucks. Okay? He underachieved every single year with an amazing talent at quarterback, Sam Ehlinger. And you're seeing it now. We saw a grand example last Saturday of what Tom Herman was doing to Texas. He was making them non-competitive against Kansas.
That's
Steve
true.
Sarkisian, they're losing to Bama by a point. Should have won.
Should have won that game. Safety, definitely a safety.
Quinn Ewers stays in the game. They win the game. So Tom Herman, I would quit being a Husker fan at that point. I wouldn't, but I would be pissed.
You would.
It'd be like if Scott Frost was still our head coach. Well, what are some of the names you've been hearing?
Well, before I say a new name, I acted like I was a little excited. I don't want people to come across and act like I hated Frost when he got fired. If you go back and watch the old shows, I actually was defending Scott. I wanted him to have this extra year. I said, give him one more year, give him one more shot, give him one more off season. It didn't work out. It's probably better that he's gone. He's a Nebraska boy at heart. I'm a Nebraska boy. You got to love that. Man, they said he put his heart and soul in the program. I'll believe him. So I hope Scott does well.
That explains it right there. You outlined some similarities between you and Scott Frost, and it just felt like Scott Frost was punching a pole every Saturday. That's just how dumb he was.
Yeah, and I will say it's going to be weird for him not to be on the sidelines and for us to talk about him because, ever since we got to UNL, for all of us, Scott's been our head coach. So, it's just –
I was there for Mike Riley.
Ryan had a year of Riley.
1 year. Okay. Fair enough. But for Ethan and I, this is all we've known since we've been in Lincoln. So
right.
It's going to be a little weird, but it'll be fine. No, so my number one pick's Matt Campbell. I've been on him before Scott Frost got fired. I was wanting him here. I thought he went. I think he went to Toledo.
Yeah, started at
Toledo.
8-9
win guy there. Came to Iowa State. Rebuilt a horrible program. Produced Breece Hall. Probably he's probably a Heisman level running back. And I want to see Nebraska get back to running the football. I want good defense and run the football. A few things that Scott clearly had no idea what those two words meant. So I think it'd be great if Nebraska, even if we're, everyone wants to win 10, 12 games, but I'm not saying Matt Campbell's that guy. He's going to be a playoff contender kind of coach. But when you're winning 3 games a season and losing to Georgia Southern, there's stepping stones to it. You got to build your program up. And I think Matt Campbell is the perfect guy who has gone into messy programs and he has built them up from 3-win teams to the 6, 7, 8-win teams like the Iowas, that are contending for Big Ten championships, for bowl games. And then, then you can go from there. After 6, 7 years down the road, when you're actually competing on the national stage again and you're actually winning games that you're supposed to be winning, then we can start talking about, 12-win seasons, college football playoff. But for now, I just want a good, solid coach that can just, start the progress upwards.
You bring up Breece Hall when you're talking about Matt Campbell, but it goes deeper than that with Campbell. He's got Kareem Hunt at Toledo. He was his coach there. David Montgomery at Iowa State as well. And then they have the new guy, Gerald Barak, who's gone for over 200. He's at 204 yards through 2 games now. And he did that did some of his work against the staunch Iowa defense.
Hey, one more thing there, Ethan. One more thing. You added all those names. He also coached a man named Brock Purdy, who is currently a quarterback, his little brother at Nebraska. Family ties, I think it's perfect.
Well, I was going to go ahead and I was getting to something with all his running backs. He's clearly a running back like whisperer, if you want to use that kind of terminology. And what was Nebraska really good at when it was at its peak in the 90s? It's just high caliber running backs just coming out of Nebraska. It was running back U. It was RBU. And it's not had that. It hasn't had a 1,000-yard rusher since Divino Zigbo in 2018. That's insane. We got a really talented guy in the room right now in Anthony Grant. And I think he's got a chance to go for 1,000 yards. He's had 3 straight 100-yard rushing games to start the season, so he's certainly on track. But if you want somebody to get everything out of Anthony Grant, I think Matt Campbell's a great guy to start with if you're talking big names to go out and hire. My number one concern with Matt Campbell, though, is he going to leave Iowa State? Nebraska chews up and spits out coaches. That's just the fact of the matter. Unless you're winning national championships, unless you're winning conference championships, which I don't know if he won a conference championship at Iowa State?
No.
That's the standard at Nebraska, even though they've had so many poor seasons in a row, that right now Iowa State loves him, and he's not winning conference championships. He just won his first Cyhawk game this last Saturday. If you have that kind of success against Nebraska's rivals at Nebraska, you're not getting retained. Is he going to want to leave a place where they love him and he could get a lifetime contract to come to Nebraska where he might make more money, might have a bigger opportunity, but it's way harder to stay at that level? I don't know. Is he going to just stay with what he's comfortable at? That's what I'm afraid of.
I don't. It's unfortunate that Nebraska's built up a program that's put off, what persona you just said, because I would love a guy like Matt Campbell. I would love to bring him in. I certainly don't speak for Husker fans and the donors who, like you said, would just spit him out for not winning a conference championship game, because I'm okay with an 8-win season after having 5 straight 3-win seasons. But like you said, not everyone is. So I would totally understand. And if he never wanted to come here, I would not blame him to want to stay at Iowa State, because they love him there. And why wouldn't you? He's already making millions of dollars, so you're pumping out NFL talent. You're winning games. You're competitive there. I can see that.
The name I'm going to toss out there, it's been the guy I've been pounding the table for since the very beginning. Not Clay Hill. He should. He was the better coach on Saturday. No, Luke Fickell, the head coach of Cincinnati, as I go out of focus here. Come on. Okay, there we go. Luke Fickell at Cincinnati. I think that he's a real solid option if Nebraska wants to go for a guy who's won in the Big Ten, knows how to recruit the Big Ten footprint, wins in the Big Ten footprint, and has made the college football playoff, has won conference championship. He's got all 5. All right. 1 year as the interim head coach at Ohio State, won 6 games. What was the best season under Scott Frost? Like 5-7? Like, Luke Fickell is way better. And I don't think he was an option, a legit option for Nebraska, until after this last offseason when Notre Dame, his alma mater, went with Marcus Freeman over him, passed him up, because he was going to be coaching in the college football playoff and they didn't want to wait for him to get in the building. I think Luke Fickell is a great option. He's developed running backs at Cincinnati, did 2 really solid ones. Jerome Ford is the big name. Developed a really strong defense. Kobe Bryant and Ahmad Sauce Gardner both coming out of there really strong. He had a 3rd-round wide receiver in Alec Pierce last year. That's higher than any Nebraska wide receiver I remember getting drafted. I think he's a real solid coach. He's built a real solid program in Cincinnati, and I think Nebraska has the prestige and the cachet to pull him away from Cincinnati more so than they do to pull a guy like Matt Campbell away from Iowa State. Any reactions to Luke Fickell?
I think Luke's a great pick.
You know
Thank
what?
you, Ryan.
I don't think you're gonna like my recap. I don't know. Luke Fickell's a good coach. Do I think he's good enough to come in and rebuild Nebraska? No, I don't. I think he found lightning in the bottle in Cincinnati. Playing a bunch of nobodies every year. That's all great and dandy, but the Big Ten's a different animal. You want to talk about other guys that dominated the Power Five? And then came to and failed at a Big Ten program. Well, let me think. Scott Frost at UCF dominated.
Scott Frost did it one time. Scott Frost did it 1 year.
Won a national championship at UCF. Comes to Nebraska, can't implement a running game, can't coach a defense, doesn't work out. I don't see why the same thing can't happen to Luke Fickell. And yeah, he did win 6 games at Ohio State. But if you can only win 6 games at Ohio State, and you lose, to Nebraska, one of the biggest comebacks in program
history. Over like a week before the season.
I don't know. I don't know it'd be a great opportunity for someone else, but as a fan of a certain program, I'd be like, I don't know. I'd let someone else take a flyer on him. I'll pass.
Okay, Scott Frost went undefeated 1 season at UCF and got the Nebraska job. Here's the last 4 seasons for Luke Fickell at Cincinnati: 11-2, 11-3, 9-1, 13-1. Okay. And he pushed a ranked Arkansas team to the brink in week 1. They could be 2-0 right now, still in the top 25. I think you're underselling Luke Fickell a little bit. Scott Frost wasn't proven as a head coach when he came to Nebraska. He caught lightning in a bottle. Luke Fickell has done it for 4 to 5 years at Cincinnati now. That's the proven track record you need.
I can't argue with the numbers.
Yeah, you can't argue with the numbers because it's the right pick. Campbell stinks. Hire Luke Fickell.
Hey, I just want a guy that can beat Iowa. What I saw last weekend, I'm all in on Campbell.
He's what, 1-6 against Iowa?
I think so, something like that.
All right. I would have loved to hear Cherry's reaction to me saying that Anthony Grant is a highly talented running back, but we're not going to get to hear it. We'll go ahead and move on to the Prime 9. Everyone's favorite segment. Throw it up there. There we go. And here we're really missing Cherry because we got the Green Bay Packers taking on the Chicago Bears. Prime time. Monday night football?
Sunday night, I believe.
Okay. I thought that was okay. No worries.
Monday's Bills.
Monday's Minnesota versus Eagles. Monday
and the Bills, yeah.
Bills.
All right. So what are we thinking? Will, start with you. Bottom top, Chicago, Green Bay.
You know what, Ethan? I went Chicago Bears last week, and that was my big upset. I saw the Packers play last week. I don't know why I got to go Chicago Bears again. I am all in on Justin Fields.
All right. Well, I have to say Green Bay did not play well. They did not look well. They did not play, as a team well at all. So I didn't get the chance to watch the Bears play. But Green Bay always chokes in the first week. So I'll give Green Bay the second week win against the Bears.
I'm gonna give my pick to Green Bay as well. Just completely unbiased opinion there.
Well, you're a Colts fan, so I would.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a Colts fan. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Green Bay. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to get back on track. My fantasy team really needs Aaron Rodgers to throw some touchdown passes this week. Okay, I did not appreciate the 3 points this week. That's why I never draft Packers players because now I'm double pissed. We'll go ahead and move on. Got LA Rams versus the Atlanta Falcons. Bounce back week maybe for LA. What are you thinking, Will?
I'm going bounce back weekend for LA. Big scoring. Big score.
High score game, says Will.
Score bigly. Could be huge.
Big score.
I like Stafford to have a bounce back win here. Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of sounded like Ryan was picking Stafford to have a bad game for a second.
A bounce. I know. I can't get my words out tonight. I'm going Rams though.
I'm going to go ahead and take the Rams as well. The real question about that game isn't who's going to win. It's how many carries is Cam Akers going to get.
I don't know. Maybe 1.
Bet the under. Bet the
under on Cam Akers carries against the Falcons. Moving on, another chance for a bounce back week for both teams. Cowboys looking to bounce back from being the only team to not score a touchdown in week 1. And the Bengals, who Joe Burrow throws 4 interceptions, and they fall to the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 1. So who do we have in this second bounce back potential game?
I got Joe Burrow, my fantasy team. I'll go first. It wasn't a good week for him last week, and there's absolutely no way he comes out and plays anywhere near that bad again. Cowboys, no Dak Prescott, no Will Reason. I'm all in on the Bengals.
All right. Well, I gotta agree with you, Will. Cowboys ain't nothing besides or without Dak Prescott. So I got to go with Bengals winning this one with Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon. I got Mixon on my team too in fantasy, so I got to go Bengals.
Listen, you guys are just absolutely correct. I'm going with the Bengals as well. Absolutely no shot Cooper Rush beats the defending AFC champions. So give me the Bengals. Moving on. Potential NFC Championship preview game here as the Eagles take on the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota sure looked like world beaters on Sunday thanks to my Packers, and the Eagles look pretty good in a win over Detroit as well, my projected NFC North winner. So, Will, who do you have winning this this battle?
This is a close one. My boy Jalen Hurts played well last week. Eagles are going to be solid, but the Vikings, they played a way better team last week and absolutely donkeyed them. So I'm going to have to just stick with the Vikings. Justin Jefferson's playing too good.
Well, you got to have a quarterback for Justin Jefferson to play well. So I'm going to go with my MVP pick and Super Bowl team winners, Minnesota Vikings.
I knew exactly where Ryan was going with that. My big thing, Justin Jefferson might need Kirk Cousins to get him the ball, but Kirk Cousins would not be nearly as effective without Justin Jefferson. I think Jefferson would win the MVP before Kirk Cousins after last week. Go ahead. I'm taking Philly, though. I love the game. They're going to keep that offense off the field. Jalen Hurts looked good. He's got a new number 1 option, A.J. Brown. Miles Sanders is legit running back 1. Give me the Eagles. I like them. It's going to be a good game regardless. Finishing up our NFL picks, we have San Francisco, Seattle. San Francisco, surprise loss to the Bears and Trey Lance's first official game as the number 1 guy. He's not filling in as an injury spot starter anymore. He's the guy. Seattle, big win over former quarterback Russell Wilson. Who do we have in this NFC West battle?
I'm taking the 49ers. I went against them last week, but the Seahawks, they're not legit. Geno Smith, he ain't winning another game for a long time this season, so I'm going all in on the 49ers.
Yeah, I got to go with Will again here too. I think Trey Lance is going to have that bounce back game.
I don't know. I liked what I was seeing out of prime Geno last week. I liked what I saw out of the 12 in Seattle. They got a lot of running backs that I like. Rashad Penny is kind of emerging as a pro finally. Kenny Walker also in that stable. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett still doing their thing. Go ahead and give me the Hawks. And then we'll start with our college picks. Nebraska starting out its in non-Scott Frost era with interim head coach Mickey Joseph taking on old rival Oklahoma. I don't even want to know the spread on this game.
It's only 11.
Only 11.
Oklahoma's favorite, of course.
Well, who you got?
I know everyone else is going to Oklahoma. I'm going Skurs all the way. A few months ago in the recruiting season, I parked Mickey Joseph's car at the hotel. Very nice car. Man rolls in style. He's got the big old Chrysler SUV. Imagine he's got a few cute kids. I'm rolling with my boy Mick next weekend at home in Lincoln. Go Skurs.
Can only imagine. Yeah, I got to go with the Sooners on this one. I really want to say Nebraska, but first game for Mickey as the interim head coach. So I think it might start off a little shaky against undefeated, good, well-coached Oklahoma Sooners. So I think Sooners are going to come out with this one.
I'm also going to take Oklahoma. Real Colin Cowherd moment from Will, though, bringing up something completely not to do with football with the cute kids. Is that Will's version of he's incredibly handsome as a quarterback? It could be. We'll see if it makes a return. I'm going OU. I think Brett Venables, Dylan Gabriel team up and absolutely destroy the Huskers in Memorial Stadium. Even though Mickey Joseph took away the black shirts, I don't think it's going to be enough of a motivator for the Skurs. Next up, we have Texas A&M looking to bounce back from its surprise loss to App State and Miami. Will.
I'm going A&M. There's no way they lose to Miami. It's just not going to happen. Their quarterback is just too handsome, you know.
Yeah, again, I have to agree with Will on this one. I got to go Texas A&M.
I'm also going to go with the Aggies just because I think you're going to get a really angry team. You know, they've been clowned all week on social media, in the media. I think you're going to get a real angry, real inspired, motivated team. Give me the Aggies. Next up, second to last. Got to throw it back to last week to intro this one. We did a BYU pick'em last week, and I gotta eat this one.
You know what? I love putting my upset picks in the prime 9 because I'm going BYU. I think Baylor's gotten a lot of hype. I'm not buying it. It's going to be an upset. Go Cougars.
That pick was so bad, his computer didn't even want to let him make it. He was trying to make sure we couldn't hear it. We're going to have to go with Baylor here in Okay, we don't need to watch any more of that. I took the Bears, and BYU came out on top. Will had it picked from the start. Yeah, so we got BYU Oregon. Shout out BYU for getting in the prime 9. I think every single week we've done it so far with quality games to start the season. Will, who you got? I got to imagine you're rolling with the Cougars, though.
I can't go off the Cougar train now. I'm all about them Cougars, man. Give me BYU.
Yeah, I think BYU's looking hot right now. I got to stick with the Cougars as well.
I almost feel like I have to pick BYU, just like an apology for last week. But I'm taking Oregon. Screw the Cougars. Bo Nix is going to have his best game as a college quarterback. Give me the Ducks.
Bo Nix, best game, like 100 yards and a touchdown?
It'll be enough to win, okay? That's all I care about, as long as it's enough to win. And we'll round it out with a rematch from last season. Penn State wins in a whiteout. Now Auburn gets a chance to host the Nittany Lions down in Alabama. So, Penn State, Auburn. Will, who are you taking?
You know, I don't think Penn State's going down there to Alabama and winning. Even Bama can't win in Old War Eagle. It's a tough place to play. I think last year it was a great game, but Penn State, they are 2-0. I thought Purdue should have beat them. They don't look like they're too sharp. I think Auburn's going to pull it off.
Ooh. All right. Well, I got to go with the Nittany Lions here. Big Ten. Penn State. Yeah, like Will said, starting 2-0. I think they're going to grab the win here, not Alabama.
I like Penn State as well. I don't know what's going on down in Auburn. I think that they're probably solid, but everyone hates Brian Harsin for some reason. I think the wheels are going to come off against the Nittany Lions. Sean Clifford is going to look like a competent quarterback for maybe the first time in his career. Always love betting on two really inconsistent bad quarterbacks to end the prime 9. That's just kind of the way I like to do it, I guess. So give me Penn State to round out the prime 9. And hopefully we're not showing you guys a video from last week where I'm making myself look like an absolute clown.
I wouldn't mind seeing another
video.
What?
I wouldn't mind it.
No, I wouldn't mind seeing another video.
I totally roasted the crap out of you last week. That's the only reason you liked it, because I made you look like a fool, and then I actually looked like the fool. All right, we'll wrap up the show with Big Bets as Bets of the Week. But first, we're going to get to a kind of a reimagined segment. Will texted me after the last show and said, hey, we used to do this thing. Let's do it again. And so I liked what he had to say, and we are bringing it back. It's going to be Saturday's Heroes is what we're calling it. We're picking one player from last Saturday who had a big game or just a big play even. But it's a guy that, with their performance, saved our Saturdays, each one of us individually, not the entire podcast, because I don't care if Texas wins. So I don't want to hear Ryan's every week. There's one player, can be any sport. We're going to start it off. Let's go right to left. So I'll wrap it up. Will's going to start it. Ryan will be in the middle there. Will, you got a player for us?
I absolutely do, Ethan. You guys brought it up a little bit, and I didn't get to watch so much this game because we were at the man in the middle. It was his wedding, but there was one thing I did see, and it was my man Kyle Van Treese, absolutely lighting it up in Lincoln, the Ginger General, as they call him, at Nebraska. 56 throwing attempts, 37 completions, 409 passing yards. The man went insane. Last week, he had 367 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. The dude was absolutely nuts on the road in Memorial. And he, did lead to Scott being fired. I'd like to think that the Ginger General is the reason Scott doesn't have a job right now. And I think that saved our Saturdays, Ethan.
Absolute snub of Gerald Green, Georgia Southern running back. But I like the Van Treese pick. He redeemed himself on Saturday, too. He was the Buffalo quarterback last year, came to Lincoln with the Bulls and did terrible and lost by like 40 points. So absolute redemption story on Saturday from Van Treese.
The Ginger General just needed a new army. That was all.
Ryan, who saved your Saturday?
Well, knowing me as a Texas fan and after losing Alabama by 1 point, I'd have to say young freshman Quinn Ewers is my Save Saturdays hero. He kept Texas, even after getting injured in the first quarter, he was out there on the sidelines, pumping everybody up, staying motivated, and I think I like seeing that. I like seeing a leader out there on the field, even a leader on the sidelines on the field even. But I was happy to see Quinn Ewers out there.
I'll wrap it up here before we get to Ryan's segment. Gentleman who saved my Saturday wasn't with a good performance, okay? Gentleman who saved my Saturday, this guy by the name of Aaron Blom. Probably never heard that name because he's the kicker for Iowa. He missed the field one time at the end of Iowa's drive. Cyclones get the win. Everyone at Ryan's wedding, all Nebraska fans cheered because we love seeing the Hawkeyes go down. Aaron Blom, he got 1 extra point, so he went 1 for 1 from extra points, but 0 for 1 on field goals. That performance saved my Saturday. So huge shout out. Let's see here.
I will say, Ethan, the best part of that whole thing was explaining to the non-college football fans that were Iowa Nebraskans why we were all cheering for Iowa missing, because they were like, "Wait, Nebraska's not playing. Why are you cheering?"
Right.
This is why.
This is his first year as the starting kicker for Iowa, maybe his last. He's only 1 for 3 from 40 yard range. Real tough performance to start the season. But that's going to be the performance that saved my Saturday. And now it's time for the most prepared. The most prepared. He thinks about these. He puts thought in them. I've seen him game plan them. It's no more off the cuff. He's learned from his mistakes. It's Big Bets Bentz's Bets of the Week. I said that right for possibly the first time in podcast history. Here we go. Ryan, what do you got for us this week?
All right. Well, I just want to start off with a big congrats to Big Sky for actually pronouncing it right the first time. I'm not even going to give it a try anymore, but good job. So I'll start with NASCAR. It's Bristol, baby. We're going to Bristol this weekend, Saturday night race. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be rowdy. It's going to get loud. I'm real excited for this one. For last week's winner at Kansas was Bubba Wallace. He was driving that 45 Toyota. I didn't win any of my NASCAR bets last week on the show, so sorry about that, folks. But this week, this is the week. It's Bristol. I love Bristol. We all love Bristol. So I'll just say my top 5s very quick. I think Logano is going to have a big comeback race this weekend. He finished 17th last weekend, but he's a big playoff driver. So look for him to finish in top 5th, along with William Byron and the 24 Chevy and Tyler Reddick in the 8 Chevy. I think those guys are going to have a good, solid race. And then for the top 10 drivers, Kyle Busch. He just had a big sign with RCR Racing for 2023. He's going to be driving the number 8 car next year. So I think look for Busch to have a strong playoff season for him. And then Martin Truex, his teammate right now, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney. Look for those guys to have a strong finish as well. They're all playoff drivers besides Truex, but non-Truex drivers still count, and I think Truex is going to have a good race. Going to the PGA now, their season starts this weekend at the Fortnite tournament. I'm just going to say my dark horse, Sadith Thigala. He's going to win this tournament this weekend. He's from Pepperdine University in California. He had a very strong – go ahead, man. Just laugh. I'm being serious. This guy's going to win. He had a very strong end to his season. He finished top 30 in the FedEx Cup rankings. So watch him come out strong, win his first PGA tournament on the first PGA tournament of the 2022-23 season. So with that, top 10s, I like Siwoo Kim. Max Homa is the defending champ for this tournament. So look for Max Homa to do well too. And then look for Joel Damon to play as well. He's going to play well. He has won once on the PGA. I think he could get his second here. It'll be a close one. Look for him to finish top 10. And then lastly for PGA top 40s, I like Maverick McNeely, Ricky Fowler, and Doug Gim, which is a Longhorn alumni. So moving on to my last betting segment for college football bets. Here we go. So to start, I got to go with the Longhorns versus UTSA. I like Longhorns by 12.5. And they're also playing at home. So I like a crowd of over 100,000 on my side. So next game, Virginia Tech versus Wofford. I don't even want to start with you about Wofford. They've been struggling. They've been having a hard time. No O-line coach. I don't know.
No strength and conditioning coach either.
No strength and conditioning coach. So they're having a rough time over in Wofford. So I like Virginia Tech money line. Maybe $1,000 would do pretty good for you, or whatever. It's a win. Cal versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame's favored by 11. I'm just going to say California by the spread. I think they'll cover. Notre Dame's been struggling this year. I'm going to keep riding against Notre Dame. Kansas Jayhawks, they're the best team in the Big 12 right now at 2-0, at 1-0 in conference play. I like Kansas to either win. I'd like them to win against Houston, but still, I like them to cover by 9. Michigan State versus Washington. Washington's favored by 3.5. I like Big Ten. I like Big Ten football. I think Michigan State's going to pull that one out. And then Texas Tech versus NC State. NC State's favored by 10. And I think Texas Tech's going to cover that pretty easily, if not even win it. Because I think Big 12 team's capable of doing that against, I don't know, what conference is that? Conference USA? What's NC State?
ACC.
Are they ACC? Oh. Okay. Well, another Power 5 team. Anyways, I think Texas Tech's still going to cover that, if not win. Thank you for listening to Big Bets, Ben's Bets of the Week. See you next week.
We just a quick update. He started the season 3-3. Last week he went 2-9, so he's sitting at 5-12 on the season. That's a 2-9-4 correct pick 'em. So maybe get your gambling advice elsewhere. But that'll do it for the 38th episode of the Save Saturdays podcast.
Still better than most. Still better than most.
That's up for debate. Thank you for watching 38th episode of Save Saturdays. We'll be back next Wednesday with another episode. See you later.